So hello everyone. In yesterday's class, which is Unit 6 English in India, History, Evolution and Future, we have discussed that how English originated in India with the emergence of, or you can say this, with the establishment of East India Company. That was the first, with the purpose of trade and diplomacy, governance, and the later on how there is a changes. It's Macaulay's Minute, whether it's a Wood Dispatch, Sadler Commission, everyone or Hunter Commission, everybody suggested that English should be the medium of instruction or the medium of language in higher education. It was the initial suggestions of all the commissions that they actually wanted to use English, and if they actually wanted to make all the Indians learn English, because so that they can use all the Indians for their own purpose, to the elite class, by putting them in an different departments, administration officials or anything else. So that was their aim. But later on we will see in today's class who are the reformers who helped English establish in India, when they see that if they will educate the Indians English, what could be the future? Okay, how India can stand globally. If so, who are those reformers? Who are those Indians who helped English in establish in India? So we will see that today. So stay tuned with the channel. Do subscribe and please share to all the students. And also let me tell you, the students were asking that what will they get while taking the membership. So here it's totally, I'm sharing all the PDF, class related PDF, but after that, it takes a lot of hard work while preparing all this, and I individually prepare everything, so that is why it takes a lot of time. So here, so first one, you have the study companion, which is in this you will get in a study companion and mastermind mentor. So in a study companion, here you will get the paper one general support. That means I will share the concept and practice questions I will bring. Strategy plan, I keep sharing. Practice questions and selected PYQs, I also bring this. Class PDF and notes I share on channel. Members only videos you will get from now on. So you can take the membership. And community learning, you can post anything in the community section. It is open for everybody. If you have anything that you want to share in community, you can share, so that everybody can get benefited. Okay. And in the mastermind mentor, you will get a paper one support, like the concept, everything that you will have in the study companion. Along with that, you will get the extra concept clarity and overview, strategy plan for paper 1 and paper 2, practice questions, MCQs with explanations, PYQs with explanation, and also you will have the access of all the PDF and notes, okay, that you will see in the class. Then paper 2 full preparation with detailed analyzation, detailed class I am already sharing to all of you. So unit wise detailed class that I am still running. Strategy plan for paper 2, you are having full mock test that we already have done 535 questions, and I will bring more. So you will have the access of all the mock test PDF, practice session, practice questions, explanations, PYQs with a detailed explanation, plus the PDF. You will get everything. Okay. And if you have any queries, any suggestions, you will have any doubt, you will get the extra guidance, mentorship, and support. Okay. So everything you will get in this mentorship. So we'll have a lot of perks and benefits if you will join the membership. Okay. Now let's discuss that who are the reformers who established English in India for the, not for their own purpose, but with the sake, for the sake of all the Indians. Okay, for the future of India. So let's see. Later we have Braj B. Kachru, The Alchemy of English 1986, who was a linguist who studied how English spread globally and adapted the local context. And the main idea of him, remember, it is important for the exam. And after this discussion, we will see some PYQs, okay? So that you can get the concept clarity. So his main idea, he introduced the concept of world Englishes and the three circle model. Remember, in yesterday's class, I have told you already, three circles model. The first, inner circle, that means native English speaking countries like we have UK, US, etc. Outer circle means the former colonies where English has institutional roles like India, Nigeria, etc. And expanding circle means the countries where English is learned as a foreign language like China, Japan, Korea, etc. So these are the three circles model by Braj B. Kachru. Inner circle, that means the native speakers who speak English fluently. Outer circles in which we learn English by establishing institution, and the expanding circle where people learn English as a foreign language. Okay, so these are the three circles modeled by Braj B. Kachru. What he recognized Indian English as a legitimate and creative form of the language. He also described English as a language of empowerment and identity in post-colonial society. So this was his significance, this was his idea, this was his perception. Then another writer who helped and who share her thought was Gauri Vishwanathan. Important. Masks of Conquest is the work, very important, 1989, who was a post-colonial critic examining the role of English education during British rule. And main idea she shared that English literature was used as a tool of colonial control. Teaching English classics helped instill British values and moral superiority in Indians. Okay, so these were basically talking about that how English started and what could be the future significance if you will later continue. Okay, so this was the idea of Gauri Vishwanathan. Then another one we have, let's see what she said. She exposed how English education shaped colonial ideology and also helped establish post-colonial theory as a critical field in literary studies. Okay. Then we have Meenakshi Mukherjee, The Anxiety of Indianness, 1992, remember, who was a literary critic who explored questions of identity and in Indian writing in English. And the main idea she shared that Indian writers often felt a sense of anxiety about whether their work was truly Indian when written in English. Okay, you understood now what they are actually trying to say, that the Indians were very much initially not very feeling comfortable by learning or writing English. They were actually like feeling that everything was written in English. Is it actually their work? It happens that since very beginning you are using a language, your on comfort language that you are actually going through, but when somebody suddenly changes the language of medium of your writing and learning or speaking, then you will somehow feel uh, uncomfortable uncomfortable, and it will make you feel that you are not in yourself, you are not using your own language, you are doing something like you are imitating. So here, this is what I mean. The people were now more of in anxious manner, feeling anxiety, feeling anxious. Why? Because the work is not written by truly Indians, but why? Because it was written in English. Okay, so this was the thought. Now let's see who are the writers who played major roles to the contribution in establishing English in India. So in colonial period, we are starting from the very beginning. In colonial period, we have the first William Jones. Major roles or the writers, not only specifically the Indians. William Jones, Discourse on the Hindus, 1786, who was a founder of Asiatic Society of Bengal, remember, and who also linked British Orientalism to Indian knowledge system. Then we have Charles Grant, who observed on the state of society among the Asiatic subjects of Great Britain, 1792. In colonial period, we are majorly William Jones and Charles Grant. Asiatic Society of Bengal, the work, remember, Discourse on the Hindu. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, letters advocating for English education in early 19th century, and also he supported modern education and scientific knowledge through English. Okay, so he did not discarded the language of English. Then Henry Desrosiers, considered one of the first Indian poets in English, inspired the young Bengal movement. Remember, Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, Raj Mohan's wife, 1864. This is the first Indian novel in English. Then we have Michael Madhusudan Dutt, Captive Lady, 1849. Early experiments with epic poetry in English. They were the writers who started writing their work in English. Okay, adopting the language English. They started writing, and somehow, if they are writing in English, they are also supporting. Okay, so this is what it describes, that if they are writing the work in English, they are somehow supporting the English language, because they have seen the future, that what could be the future the english is if the English will establish. Okay, then later on, early to mid 18th century, Ramesh Chandra Dutt, The Lake of Bands, 1902, History of Civilization in Ancient India, who was a servant and translator of Indian epics into English. Then Rabindranath Tagore, Gitanjali, that English version 1912, very important work, who was a Nobel laureate and bridged East-West literary aesthetics. Later on, later on, we will see a lot of writers who started writing their work in English language. Okay, and if they have not written, if they have written their work in their own language, regional language, they were now started translating all those works in English to reach to the people. So Shri Aurobindo Savitri 1916 to 1950 published posthumously epic poem in English, philosophical and spiritual based. Sarojini Naidu, The Golden Threshold 1905, who was known for lyricism and Indian imagery in English poetry. Then Mulk Raj Anand, Untouchable, very important social realist novel critiquing caste oppression. R.K. Narayan Swami and Friends 1935. This was all the work written before the independence. R.K. Narayan, who also created a fiction town, Malgudi, focused on middle class Indian life. Then Raja Rao Kantapura, 1938, which was a Gandhian novel blending Indian oral tradition with English prose. Okay. Then post independence. This was the influence of pre-independence and now the post-independence writers. K.R. Srinivas Iyengar, Indian Writing in English 1962, who was pioneering survey of Indian English literature. A.K. Ramanujan, The Interior Landscape 1967, Poems 1968, and also very important translator and poet bridging Tamil and English traditions. Gauri Vishwanathan, remember, 1989, studied how English literature became a tool of colonization. Meenakshi Mukherjee, Realism and Reality 1985, the twice-born fiction focused on Indian novels in English. Alok Rai, The Hindi Nationalism 2000, explores the political and cultural tensions between Hindi and English. Then Braj B. Kachru, we have The Alchemy of English 1986, who also coined Indian English and three circles model of world Englishes. Okay, remember every highlighted points. Then in contemporary world, we will see who were the scholars who continued writing their work in English. They did not discard it. So G.N. Devi, we have a very important writer after amnesia 1992, who also founded of People's Linguistic Survey of India and also focused on marginal languages and multilingualism. Very important. You'll see many questions. Penny Cook Alistair, The Cultural Politics of English as an International Language 1994, and also he analyzed global spread of English, including post-colonial context like India. Then Avadhesh Kumar Singh we have, who works on English language teaching and Indian English literature. Okay, so these were the writers. Okay, so these were the important contemporary scholars, contemporary writers, post-independence writers, and the independence, pre-independence writers who supported English and started writing their work in English or translation, using translation. So after this, there are PYQs that you must see which type of question you can face in the examination. So here is the first question on your screen. Which historical document is often considered a pivotal moment in the introduction of English education in colonial India? Option you have the Vernacular Press Act 1878, the Charter Act of 1813, the Education Dispatch of 1854, which is known as Wood Dispatch, or the Indian University Act 1904. The Charter Act, what would be the correct answer? Correct answer, everybody? So the correct answer of this question would be option B, Charter Act. Okay, Charter Act. The Charter Act, it allowed missionaries to promote Western education in India and marked the official beginning of state-supported English education. So this was the correct answer, Charter Act. Who is the author of Macaulay's Minute on Indian Education? Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Thomas Babington Macaulay, Lord Curzon, or William Bentinck? I will add the I have already shared the PDF of the previous class that is in English in India. You can see on the Telegram. You can check on the Telegram. Okay, you can join if any of you are watching for the first time. So the correct answer, Macaulay's Minute, we all know option B, Thomas Babington Macaulay is the correct answer, who wrote his famous minute on Indian education 1835, advocating for English as the medium of instructions in Indian education. Next one we have, which term often used in the context of Indian English describes the mixing of English words with Indian language within the same conversation or text. Diglossia, Creole, code switching, echoes. This is related with the same unit, so that is why you are seeing the question. Correct answer? Which term often used in the context of Indian English describes the mixing English? Okay, so it is all, we all know code switching. Why my tongue is twisting so much? Code switching. Code switching is the correct answer when you change while speaking in specifically in conversation to the other language. So that is what code switching means. The Charter Act of 1813 is a significant in the history of English education in India because it introduced Western science in Indian schools, allocated funds for the promotion of education in India. They abolished traditional learning institutions or made English the official language of the British government in India. Correct answer? Charter Act of 1813 is significant in the history of English education in India. Remember, I have told you in the class that they play the major role. They provide funds, they allocated funds for the promotion of education in India, English education in India. They promoted funds, very, very important. Next question we have, and you can remember the amount also. The Charter Act of 1813 earned marked 1 lakh rupees for the promotion of education, marking the first state intervention in Indian education. Okay. Next question we have, which document officially endorsed English as the medium of instruction in education? Hunter Commission 1882, Macaulay's Minute 1835, Indian Education Commission 1886, or Wood Dispatch 1854. Which document officially endorsed English as the medium of instruction in Indian education? So it is option B, Macaulay's Minute 1835. According to them, the medium of instruction should be English. Okay. Next one we have, the Wood Dispatch 1854 is often called the Magna Carta of English education in India, the Indian Renaissance document, the first educational commission, the language policy of India. Correct answer. The Wood Dispatch 1854 is often called or often known as, also known as a correct answer, the Magna Carta of English education in India, because we have seen the most of the reformations have done in this commission. Here, it established the framework for education in India, emphasizing teacher training, universities, education departments, women's education, secondary, primary, vernacular language, everything they talked about. So that is why it is known as the Magna Carta of English education in India. Next question, you have the Hunter Commission of 1882 primarily focused on primary education and its decentralization, language policy in universities, moral and religious instruction, promotion of technical education. The Hunter Commission of 1882 primarily focuses on which one? Correct answer option A, primary education and its decentralization. You know, the Hunter Commission recommended the expansion of primary education and involvement of local bodies. Next question we have, who described the spread of English education in India as a form of cultural colonization? Raja Rao, Gauri Vishwanathan, Braj B. Kachru, Meenakshi Mukherjee. English established in India, the Indian writers have played the major role. Their crucial role helped English established in India after the Britishers and all the commissions. So, what would be the correct answer? Who described the spread of English? It is option B, Gauri Vishwanathan. Remember, it is a very important PYQs. Gauri Vishwanathan. So, Gauri Vishwanathan in Mask of Conquest argued that English education served as an ideological tool of colonial domination. Okay. Next question. Who introduced the concept of the three circles model, three circles model, inner, outer, expanding of world Englishes? Rajarao, Kachru, Amartya Sen, Salman Rushdie. Correct answer. Who introduced the concept of the three circles? So it is option B, Kachru. It's B, Kachru. Okay. So Braj B. Kachru's model explains how English functions differently across nations, with India in the outer circle. Remember, the three circles is given by Braj B. Kachru. According to Meenakshi Mukherjee, the anxiety of Indianness refers to the hesitation to use English in literary creation, the tension between Western modernity and Indian its identity. What is happening? The absence of regional language influence and the imitation of Western literary forms. My bad, everybody. I don't know why my tongue is twisting so much. In the previous class, also, it was actually I have missed the 2 days now. Since 2 days I have not uploaded, so that is why when I continue the class and keep speaking, my tongue is still better than the skipping one while speaking English specifically. So it was the tension between Western modernity and Indian identity. Okay, many of you have felt now that if let me tell you my experience when I start speaking English in front of somebody, this they make you feel inferior, saying that uh, why is she speaking English like this? They it likes they make, try to make you feel inferior that you are speaking English is nothing to them and you are doing something wrong. I have experienced this. Everybody one has does. Even the friends also said, no, uh, you have experience. Let's move on to the next question. So it is, which of the following was established after the recommendation of a board dispatch? Calcutta University 1857, Banaras Hindu University 1916, Indian Education Commission 1882, Indian Council of Education 1904. Correct answer? Which was the correct? Remember, under the Wood Dispatch 1854, there were three major universities were established. I told you BKM, you can remember, or BMC, whatever. So it was Calcutta University, and under which commission Banaras University was established? Comment your answer if you know. So it is correct answer Calcutta University. Remember, Calcutta, Bombay, Madras universities were established in 1857 following Wood Dispatch recommendation. Next one we have which concept by Braj B. Kachal refers to the creative adaptation of English in new social culture context like India. The nativization of English, English hegemony, linguistic imperialism, bilingualization. Which concept by Kachru refers to the creative adaptation of English in new socioculture, cultural context like India. So it is option A, the nativization of English. Okay, the nativization refers to how English absorbs local elements, sounds, vocabulary, syntax, reflecting regional identity. Okay, so this is the correct. Next question we have. You have to now arrange the following key educational language policies in India in chronological order from earliest to latest. Macaulay's Minute, Wood Dispatch, the University Education Commission, which is Radhakrishnan Commission, and the Charter Act of 1813. Here are the options. Quickly comment your answer. So the correct answer of this question would be option A here 4123. Let me show you. The Charter Act of 1813, first official step allocating funds for education in India. Remember, Macaulay's Minute 1835 promoted English as the medium of instruction. Wood Dispatch 1854, known as the Magna Carta of English in India, and the University Education Commission, which is the known as Radha Commission 1948 to 49, focused on higher education reforms post independence. Okay, so these are the correct answer. Next one we have accession and reason. Assertion is saying Thomas Babington Macaulay advocated strongly for the introduction of English education in India to create a class of people Indian in blood and color but English in taste, in opinion, in morals, and in intellect. And reason is saying this policy was primarily aimed at fostering a shared cultural identity between the British rulers and the Indian masses to promote national unity. Here are the options. Quickly comment your answer. Thomas Babington Macaulay advocated strongly for the introduction of English education in India to create a class of people. And remember the statement. So, correct answer. Both the statements I have to, in one of the video I have told you how you can get your score, how you can score while solving the assertion and reason questions. You can watch the playlist of tips and tricks. You will find that how you can solve assertion reason question. Okay, now so you can watch. So option C, A is true, but R is a false. Why? We all know Thomas Babington Macaulay indeed advocated for English education in India, okay, to create the class of intermediaries. That is why he gave this statement. However, what was his goal was not to foster a shared culture. This thing we have not studied, and he did not talk about a shared culture, identity, or a national unity. This was not their aim. They just wanted to promote the English in education system, and also but to serve colonial administrative convenience by producing English educated Indians who could act as interpreters between the British rulers and the Indian subjects. So this was their aim. They wanted to educate Indians because of their own benefit. Okay, so that is why assertion and reason both can be correct, and you can choose the option A, while because R is the correct explanation of A. It is right, but it is not the correct explanation. It is not explaining. It is not the proper reason of what A is saying. So that is why we can select option A is true, R is false. Now let's move to the next one. Next, you have match the following authors, works, and concept. And you have here author and concept Raja Rao, Mulk Raj Anand, The Three Language Formula, and Gauri Vishwanathan. And the work you have Cooley, The Serpent and the Rope, Post Independence Language Policy, and Masks of a Conquest. Quickly comment. Gauri Vishwanathan, Mask of Conquest, D with 4. We can go. Raja Rao Cooley, A with first. It is also correct, right? Mulk Raj Anand, it is also correct. The three language formula. So all the options are correct. Okay. They matching the same in front of each other here. Raja Rao, The Serpent and the Rope, a philosophical novel exploring East-West encounters and spiritual identity. Mulk Raj Anand Kohli, a social realist novel highlighting the exploitation of poor in colonial India. The three-language formula. It was a post-independence language policy adopted in India's national policy on education to promote multilingualism and regional languages. And Gauri Vishwanathan, Masks of Conquest, a critical study of how English education served as a tool of cultural dominion during colonial rule. Okay. Next one we have the term chutneyfication. Sorry, this is the name I have to pronounce, but it is funny. Used by Salman Rushdie, primarily refers to which of the following in the context of English in India. The mixing of Indian spices in English cuisine, the process of domesticating the English language in India, infusing it with local vocabulary, rhythms, and sensibilities, the British colonial policy of dividing and conquering different regions in India, or the modernization of traditional Indian education systems. The term chutneyfication, used by Salman Rushdie, primarily refers to which of the following in the context of English in India. What would be the correct? So the correct answer of this question, option B, the process of domesticating the English language in India by infusing it with local vocabulary, rhythms, and sensibility. So here the term chutneyfication, popularized by Salman Rushdie, especially in Midnight Children, metaphorically describes how Indian writers spice up English, blending it with Indian idioms, cultural reference, and linguistic flavors. Okay, so this is what the chutneyfication that means. You're adding the Indian flavor, the culture that we follow in India. You can get the example of movies, how spicy. What do you say? The movies is entertaining. They have added up a lot of flavor of what the audience wanted. So this is what we mean. Now, these are the questions, everybody. I hope you have liked questions. So you now these days, you all must practice. Do not leave any single questions. You are getting from anywhere. Just do watch. Do not leave. Who Nobody can predict what is going to happen in December. So I have a feeling both tricky and the easiest, not as the one we have seen in June 2025, but let's hope, let's have a finger cross that my intuition gets right, and we will have a lot of easier questions. Easier questions will not is actually right, but we have studied, so obviously those questions will be easy for us. So that is why I'm saying. So there should be the balance, not the way they have done in June 2025. So how do you like these questions, everybody? Thank you so much for joining. If you want more questions like this, do comment. Thank you so much for joining. Do take care of yourself and bye bye.